2 minutes.
Sorry.
I don't know if I'm going to do it, but so how does one capture the essence of Anne Wiley in a 2-minute speech? I will try. Here on May Day, right? So here on May Day, not marking the day by dancing around a maypole, but instead we're celebrating Anne's contributions to GCC's rich history. In other words, we're celebrating Anne's academic labor. On May 1st, 1886, Chicago Unionists, reformists, socialists, anarchists, and ordinary workers collaborated to make Chicago the center of the national movement for an 8-hour workday. The irony for me, as someone introduced to labor history by Anne in the MCCC, is that Anne's 8-hour day begins often at 4 a.m. Those of you who pay attention to the email time mark know what I'm talking about, right? And her 8-hour day often ends at 9:30 p.m. when she dozes off with her students' assignments in disheveled order nearby.
It's true! Sometimes across my belly.
Or on your lap, you could have your iPad, right, with a digital or hard copy of Inside Higher Ed, or the Chronicle of Higher Ed, or the New York Times, or maybe the NEA's Thought in Action, or maybe the Massachusetts Board of Higher Ed weekly updates, right, or the AAC&U news, right? So we all know that Anne is a ferocious reader of anything and everything to do with liberal education, especially public community college education. We know this because she shares the information freely. She even shares with us what she's determined are the most salient points. So I concluded a long time ago that Anne's favorite color is yellow highlighter. When I was a student here, I didn't know Anne. I didn't have her for Psych 101 or Intro to Women's Studies or Psych of Women or Psychology of Good and Evil. I wasn't enrolled in the learning community she taught with David Ram for returning women students. I also didn't make it a habit of visiting the Women's Resource Center in its original location, a narrow room in the north building, which Anne birthed. Somehow, I think it's fitting.
With a work-study student.
With a work-study student.
Several.
Somehow I think it's fitting that Anne is curriculum consultant to me as I teach my first class for Women in Transition as she winds down her career. Just breathe. So, I met Anne. This is hard. I met Anne when I was a welfare organizer, organizing my sister welfare recipients while I was an Ada Comstock scholar. And Anne was working with a statewide organization.
Just recycled those papers recently.
Called WETAC, Welfare, Education, and Training Action Coalition. You'll understand why this is so hard in a moment. In 1997, Anne enabled me to finish my Smith degree when I was enrolled here for a video class with Joel Bax. She supervised my community service so my family wouldn't lose our welfare income. That's huge. Huge.
Coffee with me anytime. Maybe a glass of wine occasionally.
So I'm eternally grateful I'm through it. I'm eternally grateful for Anne's wit, her wisdom, her intellect, and her triumphs. I will remember with fondness the times we sat in her cluttered office, critically analyzing the current GCC events, or reflecting on our own actions, like the time we, along with a cohort of women, and you know who you are, dressed Victoria's Secret models in paper doll pose, and we got in trouble for it. I'll cherish my memories of the workshops we created and facilitated on Long Island at the Working Class Conference, the standing room only Tim Wise lecture in the Stinchfield Lecture Hall. I will miss our daily conversations with Andy and James and John, And whenever I wear yellow rubber gloves, I smile to myself. And then I cringe when I remember why you gifted me them to begin with.